Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jacob with Unleashing Intuition Secrets, joined once again by David Schmidt, the CEO, founder, and inventor of LifeWave Technology. It is absolutely incredible to have him back on. He has 200 and count and about ready to go higher patents, and we're just going to keep seeing him coming out. He's great shows. We just did a great convention in Anaheim. That was magnificent. Good job.
And Thank you very much. Had a lot of help.
Yeah, that's we got a lot of people that love LifeWave and like to contribute quite a bit. So thanks for joining us, David.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. Yeah, no, that was, we're just a month out after having that event. It was incredible. We had over 7,500 people. We had the Doobie Brothers perform. We had incredible guest speakers, amazing event. And of course, we got to show Code of Creation, our new film on the X2O technology. And we wrapped everything up on Saturday night with Elton John. And I don't think that's ever been done in our industry before. So that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely incredible. And that's why you've been the multiple recipient of Inc. magazine's list of fastest growing companies, because you roll out the red carpet. And you do the same thing in the spiritual realm, I believe, as well. And that's one of the reasons why I've been very attracted to your work. You talk about divine inspiration, biblical, inspiration, and so forth. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I do Bible studies. So I was brought up as a Catholic. I would consider myself today to be a Christian. And my belief is that the Holy Bible is the inspired word of God. And I think what I've come to realize is that this book defies time and space as we normally think about it. On a very basic level, of course, we know there's prophecies that have been in the Bible that have come true. But on the other hand, there are mathematical codes that are written into the Bible in both the original Hebrew and the original Greek. And so there's some mathematical evidence that there's more going on in the Bible that meets the eye. And so some of my areas of study there have been on longevity, but others have even involved looking at new energy sources, meaning that there seems to be information encoded into the first 5 books of the Bible, the Pentateuch, that seem to describe the construction of a device that can produce energy in a new and interesting way. So it's hard to maybe rationalize that all that information could be random. There must be a higher power at order there.
Yeah, definitely. And I've noticed that myself. I get divine inspiration quite often, see events in the future and all kind of crazy stuff. So part of that is just connecting with source. And I think you've done a really good job with that. I believe the patches are helping us connect with that source material and instilling light within us. Tell us about the light, the phototherapy that you've basically tapped into. Of course, it goes all the way back to Greek times, ancient Greek times, but you brought it back.
Yeah. So for thousands of years, it's been studied in all types of cultures in Egypt, in Greece, where different colored lights have been used therapeutically. In India, this is a practice that goes back about 5,000 years. Interesting book by Darius Dinshaw called Let There Be Light, of all things. And this is, let's say, an encyclopedia of how you can use different lights or a blend of different colored lights for treating all different types of disease. And essentially what I did was I modernized this system by looking at what would be the biological code that cells are using to trigger very specific biochemical changes in the cell. This is the science of photobiomodulation. So what LifeWave technology essentially is a way to take the biophoton emissions that are naturally coming off the human body as a result of metabolism within the cell and then have a nanotechnology optical filter that can reflect back specific wavelengths of light for triggering very specific biochemical changes. So the advantage to the consumer is that this is a passive way using light to improve energy, relieve pain, the quality of sleep, support our overall healing, improve cognition, and improve strength and stamina, among other benefits.
Yeah, and that's where it came in early on. You were working with the Navy, doing energy systems and so forth, and eventually moved over and worked with the SEAL teams. I'd heard about those studies long ago, and then fast forward, I heard that it was available to the public, and I know that usually these black projects don't come out for decades, if not ever. So I was like, you got to be kidding me. This stuff is actually available to the public. And so that's when I got involved with it. I read about your work. I'd heard about it. And I was like, of course I'm going to try this. So I tried it, had instantaneous results, because I'm very much into energy and so forth. So it was very obvious to me that this was something that was very valuable for humankind. And I just had to start sharing it. And I've been sharing it for like several years, and it's been fantastic. Tell us a little bit about the beginning stages, the energy and so forth.
Yeah. Oh, that was interesting. So that was back in the 90s. And at the time, I was developing new methods of generating power, survival equipment for the U.S. Navy through a number of government contractors, most predominantly General Dynamics Electric Boat and Newport News Shipbuilding. So those are the two big nuclear sub producers that we have in the U.S. And of course, Newport News Shipbuilding is building the carriers. And at the time, the Virginia class submarine, the original, was under construction in Connecticut and in Virginia. And I was proposing a system for generating power in emergencies. It was a novel type of turbine that was multi-fuel. And I had proposed kind of a novel solution to this, as well as generating oxygen. And I was invited to participate in looking at how we could come up with a solution to the mini sub that was going to be attached for the SEALs to the Virginia. And that in and of itself was a very interesting project. And so I got to work on it and thought about, well, the crew are going to go on these missions that are 30 hours, 60 hours. And I've been interested in health and fitness my whole life. And I didn't like the idea that there were guys having to take a lot of caffeine or worse, amphetamines to stay awake. And so I thought, okay, maybe this is an opportunity. We can improve survivability by going in a different direction. We have wireless communication today. What if we literally had a device where we could wirelessly tell the body, hey, burn fat for energy? And could we create this technology? So it took me a few years to figure that out. I eventually demonstrated that for these contractors. And then that's when 9/11 occurred. And at that point, the government was interested in weapons and not survival patches. So I took the technology out into the public domain. And that was the very, very beginnings of LifeWave.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible. So now you have moved to stem cell activation.
Yeah. So in those more than 200 patents now, there have been a lot of technologies, turbines, batteries, new methods for generating hydrogen, new polymers, new metal alloys, amongst many other things. And one of the areas that I got interested in the late 2000s was looking at stem cells as being the future of medicine. And maybe we could take a different approach to this. So I invested just over $4 million into looking at a non-invasive way that we could mobilize stem cells in the body. We did this research with the National University of Ireland in Galway under Dr. Tim O'Brien, who's a very well-known stem cell biologist. And So at the NUIG, they have what's called the Regenerative Medicine Institute. And essentially where we started was to take donor cells from people over the age of 60. And we studied their MSCs, as they pronounce them in Ireland, mesenchymal stem cells. Over here in the US, we pronounce them differently. But they're the MSCs. And essentially, these are stem cells that get released from the bone marrow, and they release growth factors. Like one of them that's very well known is called VEGF. This is a growth factor for the cardiovascular system. And we want to see, can we enhance the production of VEGF or another growth factor, IGF-1, with this technology? And on our very first attempt, we were able to duplicate the effects of a stem cell injection, but do it with a novel form of electromagnetic field. So this was that basic research demonstrated that you don't have to inject stem cells in the body. You can use the stem cells that we already have, but get them to function like younger, healthier cells.
Incredible. Now, I've personally had the stem cell injections. And it was very effective for, I guess, maybe 6 months to a year. It was around that time frame where I started using LifeWave, and I haven't had to use the injections since. And I feel that LifeWave has saved me lots of money, so tens of thousands of dollars probably, and it's been more effective actually, because after a period of time, it just doesn't have any effect. But LifeWave continually, regenerates, and more. As time goes on, I'm seeing more and more improvement in all aspects of my life. So, very, very incredible technology. Now, just recently, you come out with Cellergize AM and now PM. Tell us a little bit about that. And I remember, going to your presentations, and you're like, take this supplement, take this supplement, take this supplement. I was like, please come out with something. And now you have. So.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. We've had our brand partners and our customers ask us for years, can we come up with supplements to match our patches? So the basic idea was, if you're going to use the carnosine patch, if you're a vegetarian or you don't have a diet that includes red meat, then you may have a deficiency in the amino acid alanine. So we included beta-alanine, which is a precursor to carnosine. If you're using X39, which is our most popular patch, you may not get enough copper in the diet or enough glycine. And so we included that in Cellergize. So basically, any of the patch products that people use, if you use Cellergize, you get all of the nutrition that you need to optimize the function of the patches. The evening formula is quite different. Evening formula was designed to put people in a state of relaxation. So we included magnesium with that. We included theanine, nattokinase, taurine, so we could improve circulation and reduce stress on the nervous system, with there being a number of other significant benefits. Every one of those ingredients promotes a healthy cardiovascular system. I'd say it that way without making a claim.
Right. Very good.
Yeah.
And so just recently, you've come out, well, at least for some of us, it's going to be widely released soon, the X2O. And I remember you talking about it over 3 years ago. And we have this thing that's coming out, and within seconds, people have results. And I was like, what could that be? It must be something to do with the water. And so eventually, I think it was last year at convention, some of us got to try it. And sure enough, within seconds, I had incredible results. Now I have a X2O machine. Fortunately, I was able to get one, and it was during a time period where I was having some issues with my lungs and skin and so forth, and it turned it all around. And sometimes I fast. I did a 4-day fast, and usually they're tough to go fast. And so I just did the water. Of course, I still use the patches too, but it was the easiest fast that I've ever done. Very, very amazing. So this new water system is quite amazing. I know a lot of people have gotten unbelievable results. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So this has been an amazing project, full of frustration, and I would say, it feels like the dark forces don't want this coming out to market because we've been delayed by about a year and have run into a lot of challenges trying to convert over the laboratory equipment to a finished consumer good. I know essentially we're trying to take something that was about 3 feet wide and 9 feet long and turn it into something the size of about a microwave oven that you just press a button and this light infused water comes out. So definitely has had its challenges, but the essentially what we're doing with this is we're creating a new species of water that never existed before. So when I read the Bible, and especially the book of Genesis, and when I see an accounting of the ages of the men in the Bible, the first 10 from Adam through Noah, we can see, well, and then beyond, what we can see is that there is a decay curve, a statistically significant decay curve in a reduction in age, especially after the flood. And what this means is that those ages in the Bible are not random. They're statistically significant. And so what that means is that if we can understand how they were living to be over 900 years old and why, when God limited man's life to 120 years old, what exactly happened there, perhaps we can find some evidence. So I was doing this research on species that don't age, such as planaria, hydractinia, ants, lobsters, specific species of ant. And what you find in each of the cases is that their cells are able to divide an infinite number of times. They have complete control over oxidative and inflammatory stress. The telomeres in the cells, they never shorten. That also makes them highly resistant to disease. And if you look in the story of the tree of life, you can actually convert that over into the original Hebrew, and you find frequency information there, and you can calculate the wavelengths of light that was coming off of the fruit of the tree of life. And remarkably, those wavelengths of light are associated clinically with regeneration of the telomeres. So again, mathematical data encoded into the tree of life. So what I did was I was able to do a study with spectrophotometry and come up with the exact wavelengths of light that we would need to use to trigger a longevity effect. And that's what we started doing our studies on. There's 6 different wavelengths of light. And remarkably, a number of months after that, I was doing a study of the book of Genesis and found that the numerical ratios in the very first sentence of the book of Genesis, when we look at in the beginning, let there be, in the beginning, God said, God created the heaven and the earth, rather. If we convert those words over to the original Hebrew, we can find that there are mathematical ratios between each of those words that correlate to the same ratios we see in the light emission that comes off of lobsters that's responsible for their longevity. So the short version of this is when God was creating everything, he put his signature in light into species that are immortal. And now we can use modern spectrophotometry to uncover this information and create technology to improve quality of life. Whether or not that results in biological immortality for human beings remains to be seen. But what we do know from our studies is that it does provide a remarkable benefit in terms of quality of life.
Fantastic. I've had the honor and the privilege of visiting you in your laboratory, and incredible Tesla level technology. I know that you went as a young boy to, I think it was Edison's laboratory, and it inspired you to
That's
become an
right.
inventor. So you literally are, in my opinion, a modern day Tesla. But the difference is the human species as a whole gets to benefit from your inventions. Whereas and you talk about there's this dark group that seems to be suppressing a lot of this stuff. Tell us about your beginnings and how you got into this, and it's just an incredible story.
I would say to anyone that you should never let anyone crush your dreams,
Yeah.
especially the people closest to you, because they can very often, people are well-meaning and they're trying to provide you with guidance, but in the process, they're shutting down being able to go after something really big and special in life. And in my case, my parents had taken me to the laboratory of Thomas Edison, and it just resonated with me immediately. And I thought, oh, this is incredible. I want to be an inventor when I grow up. This is like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And so on the way home, and I'm, 8 years old, and I said to my dad, oh, when I grow up, I want to be an inventor. And my dad said, well, there's no such job. And, that was his way of thinking about things. And my dad and I, still laugh about that because of how, how things turned out. But I could not get enough of reading everything. So my entire life, I read books on physics, chemistry, biochemistry, electrochemistry, quantum physics. I mean, science fiction, you name it. I want to learn as much about as many things as possible, because for example, on the technology that you saw in my labs, that is a combination of a variety of different technologies from different fields. So there's a lot to be said for cross-disciplinary training, where you take concepts in mechanical engineering, chemistry, physics, and you combine them in a new and novel way to create something new that's beneficial, people haven't seen before.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so one of the things I was able to look at is your drone program. Now, having been in the military, especially in special forces at the highest tier levels, and in the CIA at the highest levels, I was exposed to extremely advanced technologies. But the technology I saw for your drone blew me away, and I was like, "Wow!" So
Thank you.
it's unbelievable. So the energy production, you were working in the very early stages in the Navy in energy production, and it translated into energy production for the human body. But also, you've taken it to an incredible level with your drone program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this started out as a father-son project. I wasn't intending to create a business out of it. And after my son and I threw around a number of ideas, I tried some different things. I thought, okay, this could go in a direction where we could actually create a revolutionary form of propulsion for drones and really change the way we think about drones. So we tried out a number of different things, ended up creating a technology that's hyper efficient, and began experimenting with that. And, as an example, if we took a drone like the MQ-9 MQ-9B from General Atomics, that might have a flight time of 24 hours. We're pushing over 40 hours of flight time with 20 to 25 gallons of fuel. So it's an extraordinarily efficient power plant, and also non-polluting. We can fill this with petroleum fuel, and yet the CO2 emissions are at ambient. You can run this in a closed room, and there's no type of smoke or carbon monoxide or excessive CO2. It's only clean air that's coming out of it. Mm-hmm. So most mechanical engineers, when they see it, they don't really know what questions to ask because it's not possible in their book what's happening. But we're applying this to drones first for humanitarian purposes, for border security. We'd like to get involved in shutting down drug trafficking. So we've been speaking with some people in the U.S. about that. It's been as you know, horrible problem here in the U.S. And so we'd like to donate our drones for that purpose. But then beyond that, we see an opportunity of creating energy independence. So the idea is this would be a 20 kilowatt system. You connect it up to your home. It can power your home, your electric vehicle if you have one, and generate enough excess electricity that you're selling that back to the grid. So that's probably about 5 years away, but the technology exists today.
Wow, it's fantastic. No, I've talked about your drone program, and I've been approached by several people, but I'm very protective. You know, yes, of course. And then I'm glad you just put that out, because that kind of like reaches a little bit further out there. So some of the people who are out there, I know I have a big military audience. If they're curious, they can contact me, and I will do the research and find out if they're worthy or not. So it is definitely like we've talked about. You know, you're under threat for, you know, having brought a lot of this technology out. This is there seems like the world right now is under incredible threat. Humanity as a whole. You brought in technologies that can counter what seems to be an assault on humanity right now, and I think that's fantastic. I think you, in a lot of ways, you have been given a lot of this information to be almost like a source to help humanity. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to do my part and be a humble servant, you know. So, yeah, you know, so when there is, I think, a pretty extraordinary opportunity here, and I've been trying to think about this in a variety of different ways. First, all of the basic biochemical mechanisms in the body, all of them are ultimately controlled with light. And then the light affects bioelectrical changes in the cell, and those bioelectrical signals initiate the biochemical changes. So this opens up some pretty extraordinary possibilities. So let's say, for example, you know, you were on the front lines and you were able to send a drone overhead, and all of a sudden the enemy was incapacitated with light because they were feeling love. And we were able to increase oxytocin levels in their body very, very rapidly. That's a technology that I've been looking at, completely non-destructive, not harmful. And yeah, ultimately, I'd like to see this going in the direction of, if we can change people's hearts and minds with light, maybe there'll be less conflict in the world, and we'll realize we really shouldn't be fighting one another. We've gotten to a point where the technology exists. We don't need to fight over resources. We can work together, and we shouldn't be trying to actively kill one another. It doesn't serve any good purpose. So I'm hoping that the work that we're doing, the community that we're building, we're going to be able to spread this message of light and healing, and I'll be able to continue to create technology that will make a meaningful difference in the world.
That's fantastic. Wow. That's some of the work that I was doing towards the end of my career working in the CIA, sending out pretty much a consciousness type of energy, and it was very effective. So that's fantastic. You're having some technologies that can do that. Now, on top of all of this energy production, you're looking at also in the future, maybe a couple years out or so, where you'll have energy for the home. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is there's a few different technologies that we've developed for this. One of them that we're experimenting with now that I'm hopeful we're going to get to work. What I would say is we have a system now that works extraordinarily well. I'm working on a method that doesn't utilize any moving parts, completely quiet. You'd have it sitting outside your home like an air conditioning unit, and it could be powered by a combination of solar or a conventional fuel. And so during the day, it could be 100% solar, 50% solar. And then at night, it could be 100% fuel. So it just really needs an active heat source, and then converts that heat over into electricity very efficiently. Traditional Peltier chips would only be less than 5% efficient. But this is on the order of magnitude of being as efficient as a turbine, which is 30 to 60% efficient. So this simply means that we can produce a lot of power in a small package, about 20 kilowatts. And this is all completely clean for the environment. It's sustainable and gives people energy independence. So yeah, we think that's about 5 years away, but it depends on regulatory. Getting these things through the government, can be a challenge, but we're going to give it a shot. I think we can do pretty well with it.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So the Star Trek theme, it's been very prominent. It's kind of fun, but in a lot of ways, it is very relevant to what you're doing, to boldly go where few men have gone before. So, you're definitely there, and all of us have enjoyed, William Shatner coming on and doing the little skits and so forth. Fantastic. So, so bigger picture, are you looking at, maybe something Hollywood level, or?
I think what I would say is that, one step leads to another. And what was interesting was last year we were able to get the original Blues Brothers, Gwen Stefani and Maroon 5 at our conference. And when we approached Elton John, he said, well, I never heard of this company before. And our agent said, well, they had Gwen Stefani and Maroon 5 last year. And he goes, oh, okay, I'm in. So that's how we got Elton John. And the reason I bring this up is now that we got William Shatner, we have other celebrities that are interested in doing things with LifeWave. We don't have a deal with them, so I'm not going to mention who they are. But I think this is to say, Mickey Willis and I have been talking about another project together. We have two different concepts. So I think we're going to be doing another film. And we've been talking about doing other projects with William Shatner. We've been talking about doing similar things. We have over 250,000 views on that video, The World's Oldest Intern, in only a month. And I will tell you, I grew up on Star Trek, the original series. Yeah. And Star Trek in a lot of ways has changed my life. So getting to meet Bill Shatner and actually do a project with him, and he's an incredibly intelligent, well-versed man in science. It has just been a thrill. And using this to help build our brand and awareness has been extraordinary. So I think you haven't seen the end of celebrities that are involved in LifeWave. I probably would say that.
Yeah, I could see that coming. So that was a good hit that I had on that one. So I think it's going to be fantastic because that's a great way to get this information out there so more people can see it. I think, and I've seen from the people that I work with. I do a show every Monday where I have people come in and talk about their experiences. They're across the board. I mean, I know you don't do it for children or newborns or pets, but there's a lot of people that have experienced on that level, and then all the way to the point where people are not going to be here on this earth very long, and they're using the patches, and boom, they're up kicking again. So there's incredible things that are happening. I think that everyone in the world could benefit from this. How many people do you think at this point are actually using LifeWave?
Oh, At any one time, it could be millions. It's at
Sure.
the low end, it's hundreds of thousands at any one time. But this year we would have made over 30 million patches. I think that it is. So it's not an insignificant number anymore.
Mhm.
And it seems like everybody that you run into has heard of LifeWave now at some point. So the word about the company is getting out there along with the technology. And it's extraordinarily rewarding that there have been so many life-changing experiences that people are sharing. People that have suffered in pain for 1, 2, 10, 20 years and are now out of pain. People that are sleeping better. People that their bodies are healing from these old injuries. Incredible contribution that our community is making to the world around us.
Yeah, it is fantastic. And along those lines, the new compensation plan that just came out, my God, I thought I was doing well before, but now everything's doubled
Yeah,
compensation wise.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know it's a
Yeah,
work.
well, that was really Meredith Burkich, our president. She had worked on that for almost 2 years. And the week that we rolled it out, we had 10,000 people that earned commissions that wouldn't have earned it under the old plan. So this I think is going to be a huge success long term for the growth of the business.
Oh, I completely agree. And you're right. All throughout my entire business, everybody's had incredible results. Everybody's extremely happy and excited, more excited than ever. I
That's
think
great.
that excitement led to probably this last, and it's still going on actually. Uh, you know, Today is the last day that people can take advantage of Cyber Mondays, can take advantage of an incredible sale that came out, and it was just spectacular, and still is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we've spent 20 years, more than 20 years building up clinical studies, setting up manufacturing. So we have that foundation, of course, generating a lot of patents, IP protection. And so it's very rewarding that all of that work paid off. So now we have a very solid foundation for building the business.
Yeah. And somebody just posted, and that was great. Michael Phelps used the LifeWave patches back when he won 28 Olympic medals, and that was in a time frame where he should have been going downhill. But I remember seeing, I was like, what is he on? And they did tests on him there, but he was wearing the patches. And now the NFL allows players to wear the patches as well. So performance enhancement without drugs. It's incredible.
Yeah, we've had, athletes from all over the world using the patches in every sport conceivable. I was even in Japan recently and then last year, and I met the #1 sumo wrestler of all time. He loves the patches. I have a funny picture I could probably send you of me standing next to him because I just look like a little doll. But he has all of his students in his sumo wrestling school using the patches. We've had boxers, Manny Pacquiao, he had used the patches, all kinds of American football players. David Beckham was photographed using the patch. Kind of goes on and on and on across all different sports. People have loved LifeWave.
That's incredible. And at one time, the world's strongest man who just couldn't quite get there wore the patches and made it. So, yeah, incredible stuff. And for me too, at 64, almost 65 at the time, I did a leg press. The only thing that's been different for me is wearing the patches. I did a leg press that was like well over 1,000-pound leg press and way more than anything I'd done before. So I know it's ridiculous, right?
It's incredible.
What's going on here? But once you start to understand, that this is extremely beneficial on so many different levels, you stop doubting and really get involved and sharing it. It's been really good. So what do you see for the company going forward?
Well, in the coming year, we're going to be rolling out X2O, our water machine. Then we're going to be getting this out into the international markets. Primarily next year is going to be Europe, Japan, South Korea. Of course, we're going to support the growth throughout the United States. Sellergize will also be going international. We're going to be implementing new marketing tools to support the growth. We have the Code of Creation film that you saw. That is going to be going into film festivals starting in February. We're hoping to win an award and then get that on a major platform for distribution. Of course, we're planning out conference for next year. We've got, for the top leaders in the company, we're going to have a getaway over to Italy, and looking forward to that. Probably some surprises along the way, some good surprises, and more emphasis on different marketing tools. One thing that we'll be at is this summer, we're planning to be at the 60th it's the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, and they're going to have a conference in Las Vegas, and Doug Drexler, who developed our Welcome Center, is going to be there. And there's a documentary coming out about his life, and part of that documentary features LifeWave. So, and of course, we have the world's oldest intern featuring William Shatner. So we can have the opportunity for tens of millions of people who are Star Trek fans to learn about LifeWave. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, fantastic. And LifeWave for me is a dream come true. First was to become a Navy SEAL. The second was to be like a James Bond guy. I did that in the CIA. Third was to have a business that I could share with a lot of people. And here it is. It's just absolutely incredible. So like I said, a dream come true. You've been that for a lot of people. And I think that's going to be, really coming out even more in the future. So thank you so much for all your work and all you do, David.
Oh, Michael, thank you for everything that you and Tracy Joe do. You guys are amazing, and really appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you for your service to our country.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for your service, because you've helped those of us that serve a lot as well. So appreciate it.
Yeah. And, we were happy to work with General Dees and make a donation to support veterans. The General loves the patches, and people that are at his center who are there for rehabilitation. The veterans are using our products for recovery. So we're very grateful that we can help out in a small way of supporting the people that defend our freedoms.
That's great. They're a hard group to get through. I've done it because, we're taught basically suck it up and keep going. But the patches basically have given me and others that are open to it a lot of relief. So we're trying to get it out there to as many as we can. So thanks so much for your help.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Fantastic, David. Thanks.